Well, it's time now for today's edition of MediaWatch, and I'm joined now by Emma James. Hi there, Emma.
Hi there.
You've been looking at how the online community has been digesting what Theresa May had to say earlier on today in Florence, and it doesn't seem to have gone down all that well.
Not really, certainly when you're looking at online. And the interesting thing is that it seems to be across the board, this deep unhappiness with what she had to say today in Florence. This is the take on it from The Guardian's cartoonist David Simmons. He's portrayed her as the godmother, saying, "I'm going to make them an offer they may refuse." And you'll notice that it controlling the strings there are Boris Johnson and Philip Hammond, the Foreign Secretary and Chancellor for the Exchequer in the United Kingdom, watching on, looking a little sinister on the sidelines, Jean-Claude Juncker and, of course, Michel Barnier, the man in charge of negotiating those Brexit terms. And lots of people really didn't feel that impressed by what she had to say today. Have I Got News for You, a very popular satirical comedy show in the United Kingdom, says live scenes as Theresa May tries to unblock Brexit negotiations in Florence, clearly thinking that she's not got the greatest of jobs there right now. The Poke, another satirical website, tweeted this image. And I'm not sure whether this was genuinely a screen grab of Theresa May's speech as it was going out live on Facebook. But as you can see, lots of angry faces on it. I don't know if that's the genuine reaction, but certainly looking online and looking at tweets in general, not too many people happy about this. There is an old saying, you can't please all of the people all of the time. With this particular speech, Theresa May seems to have managed to please nobody. Fairly unsurprising, really, that those who are very much against Brexit, want to stay within the EU, like we need EU, weren't going to be happy. But this person says this was a put up or shut up moment. If May had any aces up her sleeve, any cards at all, that was the time to pull them out. She didn't. Toby Helm is the political editor of The Observer newspaper. What he had to say was, we are staying in the EU for 2 more years because we have no clue how to get out without doing untold damage. This gentleman, another very much pro-remain in the EU campaigner, saying the May speech forces one to ask, what is the point of this absurd Brexit farce? Just stop it. Now, there were some kind words for Theresa May after this speech, most notably coming from Boris Johnson, the Foreign Secretary, even though he has been seen to be positioning himself to possibly try and take over the leadership of the Conservative Party and obviously the Premiership in so doing. He said the PM's speech was positive, optimistic and dynamic, and rightly disposes of the Norway option forwards. Something of a rallying cry there from Boris Johnson. Very different, though, to a lot of the things being said online and some of the reactions to him here saying she has sold out the Brexit voters. And this person tweeting, "Are you high, Boris? She sold Brexit down the river." And there is an image of her Conservative Party membership card cut up into little bits. Now, one of the most famous Brexit campaigners, of course, was Nigel Farage, the former leader of the UKIP party in the UK. He's not happy at all. He says this vision is that we leave the EU in name only. All areas of integration we have currently will be rebadged. I think he means given a different name. And looking at some of the very much Tory press, it's interesting to see that even they are giving Theresa May a bit of a rough ride. The Daily Mail saying that she is accused of betraying the referendum by effectively keeping Britain in the EU until 2021 and, of course, offering to pay for the privilege. Slightly more in keeping with the party line is the Telegraph, also commonly referred to as the Tory graph in the UK. Such is their political leaning. They had this article from Norman Lamont, a former Chancellor of the Exchequer in the UK. He said the speech was eminently reasonable, and how could the EU reject it? He went on to say that he thought it was thoughtful, eloquent, well-constructed and clear, and that she was never going to be able to meet some of the artificially high expectations of her with this speech. Interestingly, the Liberal Democrat Party's press office tweeted this, effectively saying that it was the right speech at the wrong time. Theresa May making a good case so far for EU membership. Maybe she should have given this speech during the referendum campaign.
Okay, so poor Theresa May doesn't seem to be able to please very many people at the moment. She's in a tricky situation. Now, 2 world leaders have been firing off some angry tweets at each other these last couple of days. Some angry messages coming between North Korea and Washington. And there's a new word doing the rounds, and everyone wants to know what it means. Tell us.
Exactly. Well, it's not a new word. It's just that it's new to an awful lot of people.
New to me.
It is. Yes, indeed. And it's had a lot of people rushing to work out A, how it's pronounced, and B, what it exactly means. Dotard or Dotard, I believe it's supposed to be doted, is the word that Kim Jong-un's statement in English referred to Donald Trump as being. Merriam-Webster, the online dictionary, said searches for it had gone high as a kite. Thesaurus.com gives this definition of the word: a person, especially an old person, exhibiting a decline in mental faculties, a weak-minded or foolish old person. Now, not to be too pedantic about this, but the words that Kim Jong-un actually used meant old beast lunatic, and it's actually a translation into English that has given this wonderful word, doted. But lots of people saying that really they feel it absolutely sums up the case perfectly. This person's pointing out that everyone's wondering, is it a real word, looking it up and then saying he is a dotard. Some of the best reactions really coming in visual form rather than words. I think Lucille Ball looking like, well, yeah, that's kind of the right thing. And this one really highlights the seriousness of the war of words and the silliness that is going on Twitter, but also what lies behind it. Me laughing along with the dotard tweets, but also watching for nuclear missiles to fall from the sky.
My goodness, well, that's a kind of dramatic note to end MediaWatch on. Thank you very much indeed, Emma James, for teaching us new words, teaching me new words and a few new tricks as well.